So on a late winner in the first round of the Cup, how do you assess that one?
Tight game, it always is when we play against Galway. We were only saying to the players this week that, since myself and Rory have come in, we've played them 5 times, including today, and we've won 5 out of 5, but every game has been 1-0, 2-1, really, really close games, and today was no different. And look, I thought we scored 2 fantastic goals. I thought Amanda pulled off 2 or 3 great saves as well, and it was probably a game that either side could have won. Being honest, we weren't at our best for the whole 90 minutes. We probably played in spells where we were really good and others where we dropped off a little bit and we're a little bit flat. But look, Cup's all about winning games and advancing to the next round, and that's what we did today.
Obviously, coming into it trying to defend the Cup, does it make the preparations any different in that you won it last year and you're kind of coming back to prove a point?
Well, I think last year we had an amazing journey, to the Cup final, and had one of our best performances of the season against Galway in the first round, and then obviously the Rovers game in Tala, which was probably the highlight of the season for the group. So, and then the final. So look, I think the competition's special for the team. It's special for the club. It's a competition that we want to go and win again and get into another final. And we're delighted to advance to the next round.
Obviously, Kate again on the score sheet. How important was it for her to just keep going and getting that last minute winner?
Yeah, look, I think with both finishes, with Kate and Mackenzie, you're probably looking at it and thinking they probably didn't have an awful lot of chances, in the game, and particularly Kate, I don't think she had another chance in the game, but she's so clinical at times that when she gets one, you always fancy it to take it. And the same with Mackenzie, they're always in there, but I think you have to look at the quality of the pass. Roma's pass was unbelievable, the weight of the pass, and that's the quality that she has. And Roma's coming back now to full fitness. She's getting there now. We've seen that in training and over the last couple of weeks in games, and she's going to be a massive player for us the second half of the season.
We always kind of mention it, but how important is it to have that squad depth that when the game's kind of getting a bit flat, you have the likes of Noelle and Roma coming onto the pitch? Yeah,
look, I know, I'm in a position and we're in a position as a team that most clubs and most teams would be envious to be in, and it gives me headaches every week. There's no easy decisions, there's constantly players, whether it's training and games that deserve to play. There's probably 15, 16 players that deserve to play week in, week out, but unfortunately they all can't start. So, I think it's important for the group just to know exactly where we want to be and where we want to head. And when it comes to September, October, as I said, we want to be in 3 competitions, and we're going to need everybody in order to do that.
Obviously, you mentioned that all 3 competitions. We're back in the All-Ireland Cup next week now. How are the preparations going into that?
Look, I think we're just happy to be back having a run of games and some big games coming up. Today, the All-Ireland Cup quarter-final next week, then we go into 2 Dublin derbies against Bows and Peamount, so the games are, the really big games. We're in a big period of the season at the moment for us, and I think after the last few weeks we referenced it being a little bit stop-start with games cancelled, the break, a couple of other things as well, being in the All-Ireland Cup as opposed to the league. And I think now we're just happy to try and build that momentum and keep winning games.
That's great, Eoin. Thanks, Eoin.
Cheers, thank you.